With GM coming along for today's Joyride, GM joining Ford in agreeing to use Tesla's EV charging network, a deal that some believe could make Tesla superchargers the industry standard in the U.S. because already they have such a big head start. There are so many of them. At the moment, as we said, Tesla up 4%, GM seeing a gain here. And so as Tesla hoists much of the market, let's take it to the Friday floor show and trader Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, at this moment, markets look pretty decent here. The Dow finally climbing up about 70 points, although the high of the session, a gain of 141. You have loved Tesla, which is at the top of the S&P and very close to the top of the NASDAQ 100. You've loved GM, Ford, Apple, all 2023 winners. I keep waiting for you to be wrong, Keith. You have avoided the worst of the S&P sectors during the bear market, like real estate. Now that we're in a new bull market, how is that altering where and how you invest?
Well, you've been very kind. Thank you. I mean, one of these days I'm going to be horrifically wrong. I just hope it's not tomorrow, Liz.
Okay.
That comes and goes. Here's the thing, right? So I think what we want to be looking at is these big sweeping themes. Many people are trying to focus on trends or technology specific things. You can't use a broad brush in these markets, particularly as we go into a new bull. The situation has changed, and you've got to stick with big quality names like the Tesla you just mentioned, like the Apples, the Microsoft, the names that are at the very top of their game, because that's the stuff that's going to attract the money.
Did you see that over the past 11 sessions that Tesla has been on this run, the short sellers have lost their shirts to the tune of $6.08 billion, just over 11 sessions?
Well, I made the comment, betting against Musk is a lot like betting against Jobs back in the day, and it's going to be a widowmaker if you try it. And I think a lot of people are finding out that I might have been onto something.
When you look at the sectors and you see what's working, what isn't, real estate, materials, industrials, they've sort of been the laggards since the bear market bottom. Do you look at some of that and say, okay, now it's oversold, let me dip my toe in here?
Well, I do look at it and I say that it's oversold, but the catalyst isn't quite there yet. And the reason I say that is because psychology is what typically drives that kind of catalyst. When your neighbor is at a barbecue with you and that individual swears off retail, that's the time to go looking at retail stocks. Or when your neighbor tells you, you know what, I'm not going to put that deck on my house, that's the time when you want to think about buying Lowe's or Home Depot, because the psychology usually shifts at exactly the wrong moment.
Yeah, the losers today, Enphase Energy, DocuSign, it's all over the map, really. But if you look for a single theme for the second half of the year, what is that? Can you put that into a word?
You bet. Defense.
Really? Defensive or defense stocks?
Defensive defense stocks. I think that geopolitics are getting really nasty. This news out of Cuba and China, the bro-fest that's going on between Saudi Arabia and China. The West does not anticipate or understand China's maneuvering, and I think that's going to be great tailwind, unfortunately, for defense stocks.
Okay. Keith, thank you very much. It's great to have you. We appreciate you joining us.
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below, and of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.